Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Tech Jefe, and time for some weekly tech news. First off on the list is the new Intel Alder Lake CPU lineup. There was some CPU-Z benchmarks showing the i5 12600K beating a Ryzen 5 5700X by almost a whole whopping 50% in a multi-thread test. You think that the 12600K having 4 lower powered efficiency cores would slow it down, but it actually helps. There was even a leak showing that one of the new Alder Lake CPUs would outperform the M1 Max that Apple just showed off. WCCTF did a benchmark comparing the Intel Core i9 12900K to the M1 Max and a few other CPUs, and the 12900K scored 1851, while the M1 Max scored 1785 on a single core Geek benchmark. On the multi-thread core benchmark, the 12900K scored 13,256 and the M1 Max scored 12,753. Looks like Team Blue is pulling ahead in the CPU market, just when Apple thought they had it. I wonder if AMD has something up their sleeve. Okay, now I know you guys are tired of hearing and talking about the chip shortage. Well, I got some more news. I don't know if you consider it good or bad, but the CEO of Intel, AMD, and NVIDIA currently predict that the current chip shortage will last all the way through next year and hopefully calm down in 2023. There's not an exact prediction of what time in 2023 though. There are some Intel earnings reports that show some poor sales due to the chip shortage, so even companies are losing out of some of their money. Maybe everyone's gonna switch to a new MacBook Pro. I'm kidding about that one. Apple's prices are probably driving people away from them. But you know what they say, you gotta pay the price if you want that Apple. Then Windows Central reports that Microsoft is working on a low-cost laptop that is even cheaper than the $549 Surface Laptop Go they announced a year ago. The code name for this device is Tangent, which this laptop would run a new version of Windows called Windows 11 SE. It will most likely only run apps from the Microsoft Store, which shouldn't be as bad considering they added Android apps now to the Microsoft Store. This was Microsoft's plan all along. Bring Android apps to the Microsoft Store, then make a smaller version of Windows that can only run the Microsoft Store apps. They're on Google. So Tesla is testing out some of their beta driving, and yeah, I don't know how I like the words self-driving and beta together. Considering, I don't know whose fault it'd be. Like, if you got into an accident, would it be Tesla's fault? Or would it be your fault? The owner of Tesla, Elon Musk, had reported that the beta does have some issues, resulting in being pulled. The beta has problems with left turns. Well, that's not concerning at all. But there are some beta users that say they get false collision warnings. So even with a Tesla, you have to keep your eyes on the road. Then also, Adobe just had their Max Conference, and they actually announced quite a few things, including updates for Apple's Silicon Max, raw Photoshop support for the iPhone and iPad, and they launched a web version for the people who don't want to install Photoshop or might even find it a little intimidating. They also decided to jump in the NFT hype train. They announced a prepare NFT option in Photoshop. Chief Product Officer Scott Belsky told The Verge that he believes in the power of NFTs to allow artists to do things like to not only get paid for their art, but also get a percentage of every secondary sale after that. Then YouTube just announced it will be demonetizing channels that constantly upload content for children that they call low quality, which Google's definition of low quality means that the videos that are overly promotional in nature, deceptive, and promote bad behaviors, and even use children in questionable ways. Which in all fairness, everything that's going on in the social media world today, this is actually reasonable. They're just trying to watch their back. Kind of how Facebook is trying to watch their back. And speaking of Facebook, they changed their name to Meta. Yes, Meta. I mean, they had to do something to change up their image a little bit. The platform Facebook still exists though. Facebook is only one part of Meta's vision for the metaverse, which the metaverse is a VR world that is meant to replace the internet. And funny enough, Meta's own consulting CTO for VR, John Carmack, said he thinks that trying to actively try to build the metaverse is a bad idea, calling it a honeypot trap for tech dreamers. Then there's some videos on Reddit that might have just leaked Oculus's next VR. It's rumored to be called the Oculus Pro, shown when firing up a standalone headset for the first time. This headset appears to operate wirelessly and does not need to be connected to a PC. It also is supposed to have strapless controllers you would charge by a dock. Yes, we're finally getting to more of the wireless VR world. Maybe Mark Zuckerberg has a trick up his sleeve. The US Copyright Office had helped the right to repair movement with Section 1201 of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. The act now includes broad legal protections for users that repair consumer devices running software. They also can be specific, like you can only repair a game system's optical drive, but nothing else. The rules may not be perfect, but maybe eventually we'll be able to get into the system and make some modifications without voiding any warranties. That's pretty much it for tech news today, guys. I hope you guys liked this week's tech news. If you do, smash that like button. Also, get subscribed yet if you haven't down below. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.